Joining us now on the podcast to help share more about their Laurel Springs experiences and how it has helped them continue to pursue their passions for tennis are two players who come to us live from the JTCC, one of the premier junior tennis programs we have in the country. First, let's introduce the rising junior out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Welcome on to our show, Eadan Waters. Eadan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Alex. How are you?
I am doing well, and I appreciate you getting up early to join us here today. Of course, I also appreciate the man to your left who is joining us on the podcast. Again, another person who can help inform how Laurel Springs has helped him pursue his tennis career, a rising senior from Christiansted in the Virgin Islands. Welcome on to our show, Yared. Alfred. Yared, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good, thanks.
Yes, well, I appreciate you both taking the time to join me here today, and obviously people in pursuit for their passion of tennis is something we all share on this podcast. Eadan, I want to start with you. Talk to me about your relationship with the sport and when it got so serious to the point that you decided Laurel Springs would be the avenue for you to help pursue your game.
Well, I started tennis when I was 4 years old. I started competing when I was seven.
Okay.
Never really got serious until about the end of 12. So when I decided, that was when quarantine hit and decided, hey, you can either do this school thing or go all the way with tennis. But found that Laurel Springs provided a good way to merge the two together so that I can keep my academics up while doing the things that I love. So I'm in starting 18s now. I'm almost 17 in December. That's when I'll turn. But it's been a great journey.
Yeah. No, I can imagine what that's like. I didn't even think about that. And so as a follow-up, you were so young, I imagine, at the time. And it is crazy to think it was a half decade ago. But that COVID impact on the decision, because I suppose at that point you're already homeschooled to an extent, right? Or you're taking online classes. We all had to at that point. Was that kind of a catalyst, dare I say? I'm already doing this. Let's see if I can do this. Did it start out as let's try this for a year, or were you ready to fully commit right away?
The quarantine was definitely the let's try it for this year, and I found out that I learned easier, or I could go at my own pace because, again, I was placed in gifted courses throughout my younger years. So now that I got to work at my own pace, go ahead when I needed to, I found that it would be a lot easier to manage tennis while doing homeschooling.
Yeah.
So
No, and
that's
I want to
fun.
ask you how you've gone about managing that a little bit later here. But yeah, a similar question to you. I'm curious if that story from Eadan resonates with you as for your pathway for getting started. How did it all line up for you to the point where, again, Laurel Springs was the pathway you chose?
Yeah, I definitely started a bit later. I started playing at like 8 and then started competing. My first tournament was at like 13 because in the Virgin Islands there's no tournaments. So I traveled to Puerto Rico to play my first tournament, and that's also when COVID hit. I think that's when I started just playing a lot more. Because in the Virgin Islands, it was just me, my dad, and like two other kids on that whole island that could even like pick up a racket. So
Okay.
um, it was pretty solo, I guess, like no one else to really hit with. So I did more trips up to like the States, and then moved to Maryland here, and then started doing Laurel Springs.
Okay.
Um, so that's JTCC is like why I started doing it because I had a good connection with them. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious for you, Yared, what that schedule looked like school-wise, balancing that in tennis before you came to the JTCC. How disruptive, I guess that's the best word, was everything you were trying to pursue on the court to your academic pursuits?
Yeah, well, I mean, I couldn't really create it like a real plan. It's not like it's an academy here. It's just me and my father. So, uh, yeah, I was doing a couple of different online schools. Nothing that really worked out as well. Just because it was not as structured. And there was no, yeah, I mean, I'd start in the morning, like kind of really any time that was available to hit with this one other kid. And then it was just very loose. Like it wasn't even a real schedule, pretty much.
Well, evidently it worked, my friend. So, okay, shout out to you, your dad, the game plan you guys came up with, because obviously that pursuit for tennis is going well. And, I want to ask about those early years first, even before we get to the JTCC part of the equation. And to go back to you, Eden, adjusting to just the different rhythms of the homeschooling lifestyle. What was that first year like for you? I guess it helped again that you had a little bit of an entryway with the pandemic slowing things down for all schools. But what were both the difficulties and, I'm curious, the benefits of that adjustment from, all right, I am going to do online schooling now. Like, what was that first year like as you tried to balance tennis and academics?
So the first year I started homeschooling officially was seventh grade, and I actually didn't start Laurel Springs until eighth grade. So the
Okay.
year I was in seventh grade, I worked with K-12. And again, like with Laurel Springs starting, like it was pretty similar from seventh to eighth grade because I found that I can do assignments on a schedule that I create that allows me to get my schoolwork done in the time allotted and also get my time on court. So the transition wasn't too bad for me. I'd say the benefits are like, again, I could finish stuff on my schedule. I can be ahead, or if I have a assignment that's behind, I can work on that while also still managing my other classes. I say the difficulty was I'd say teacher student communication because you do have teachers for those classes, but it's on you to schedule time with them.
Yeah, and obviously, again, that's something I want to talk about even more for you, Yared. When you made the switch to full time online, how was that adjustment for you? Was it an easy one to make?
No, it was very, yeah, it's definitely very different, especially since the school I was going to in the like smaller island, it was one of the bigger schools of the island. So when I did make that switch, it was just a very different environment. Like it was difficult to um, just do the work myself pretty much. That's a good thing about Laurel Springs in the class here is like there's 15 other kids that are in tutors that are doing it with you. But over there is not, yeah, just not as structured and definitely very different.
Well, I'm glad you bring up the way the JTCC helped offer that structure to you all because that is something I wanted to talk about here today. And I'll start with you for this one, Yared. When did you become aware of the JTCC? How did you get involved with becoming a part of the program?
When I started playing more tournaments, I started, some of my friends went to this academy and then they were telling me about the academy and like the school they do. And when I was trying to move to somewhere permanent to train other than the Virgin Islands, I always thought this place was like a good option, especially my mom like works around here, so it worked out well. And then yeah, it's just through friends pretty much.
That's how it works in tennis. Someone knows someone, and someone
Yeah.
has an idea, and then everyone rallies behind that idea. I love to hear that. Was it similar for you, Eden?
Somewhat. So I was part of a NJTL back in New Orleans called A's and Aces, and that's how I discovered this place because the Excellence Cup is held here,
Okay.
or was held here in the earlier years. And I went up here, I saw the campus, and then during, I'd say, spring break of seventh grade, that's when I tried a week here, like just to see what school would be like or the schedule would be like if I were to come here. I ended up liking it. So for summer of eighth, like summer transitioning into eighth grade, I moved up here. I'm living with my dad, and I followed the process through. I um, went through that summer and then started the school year in eighth grade, and I've been here ever since.
Yeah, no, a good choice, clearly. When was it for you, Eden? Yared talked about it there. The balance the JTCC offers. Talk to me about the program there and how you guys go about pursuing excellence on the court while making all sorts of, again, while ensuring your academics are never compromised.
Oh, the program here is very scheduled. It's very structured because I mean, I'd say on a regular day, we're doing 4 hours of tennis. We're making sure we're getting about 3 hours of school, if I'm remembering correctly, and then an hour of fitness. So it's 5 hours of training and 3 hours of school, but our day ends at 4, so we're allowed to go home and do more school. It's it does balance tennis and like our academic needs, and we also have people that help us work through them. We have Mr. Mark Santangelo, who's the main teacher, the main academic counselor here, and then there's also tutors that's provided through the program that help us.
Yeah.
So it's very structured.
No, and again, it's a credit to both Laurel Springs and the JTCC to ensure you all have the resources you need. And I'm curious, Yared, if you could tell us more about those resources. Obviously, you mentioned your fellow students and just to have them to speak with and rally ideas off of. But how has the JTCC Laurel Springs gone about providing those resources to all of you that are a part of the program?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of tutors here. There's an in-person tutor. She does most of the math, and then there's a bunch of other tutors that I don't even use, but like for language courses and like physics and all the different classes. And also senior counselors, junior counselors, college counselors, all of those help a lot.
Yeah. No, it's clear with the success that so many have had coming out of the program that that's the case. And again, hearing about that schedule, like there's got to be some of those 5-hour days where you just come off drained, right? Or again, there's a week when you guys are on the road and you're playing an event and there probably just isn't as much time to get to schoolwork as you would like. When that happens, Eadan, how do you guys go about adjusting? Like you kind of mentioned leaving more time for yourself. What does that look like in practice for those curious? Because everyone has this imaginary concept of what it would be like to be a part of an online school and be a part of a JTCC program. What does that look like in reality?
So in reality, it's completely on us to manage our school. Like we have guides to manage, we have spreadsheets to see what assignments we need to catch up on or what assignments we need to do that week to stay on task. But in reality, it's definitely on the student and the athlete to manage our time. So let's say you're coming back or you're exhausted after a week, right? We have mentors or coaches here that are our personal coaches that we talk to for breaks and for like to let them know that hey, we're taking this practice or this time off to get school done and rest. And most of the time they're completely fine with it. They know that we need to balance our our sport and our academics. So it's very helpful just to have these people around and to also know that you have full responsibility of your own schedule.
How long does it take to adjust to that, Yared? Like what early on I know I kind of asked this earlier, but like year one, were there weeks where you're like, looking back, probably didn't manage my school year correctly? Like how long did it take you to find your footing, find your rhythm? Listeners can't see this. He has a smile on his face as I ask this question. Like how does one go about finding that comfort level? What did you have to do?
Um, yeah, I mean, there's not much to like really go around it. Like you just kind of have to find a proper schedule and do the work, especially at those tournaments on the weekends or tournaments during the week. Just have to maybe stay up a couple, like an extra hour, just do the work you need to do. And adjusting with Mark has helped a lot with that. He keeps us on track like literally every week. And he even has his own schedule. There's a Laurel Springs schedule, but he has his own schedule that is a little bit ahead, so you don't get behind.
Yeah.
I did get behind, but it definitely helped a lot. I would have stayed like maybe a month after if it wasn't for Mark. So
No, I like that. There's the Laurel Springs standard, and then there's the Marks and Tangelo standard, and it's good to have both in your lives to pursue. This may be a silly question, but the normal school schedule, right, affords for a summer vacation. Is that how it works in online schooling as well? Or I mean you have the option to pace it, right, to whatever pace you would like. Eadan, does that make academics more of a 12-month, year-long, year-round sort of exercise for you, or do you afford yourself a summer vacation?
So I actually this past year was the first year that I've actually allowed myself a summer vacation. You can definitely schedule your courses to the pacing, but usually it's like the standard is you either start in August, end in May, or start in September, end in early July.
Okay.
And sorry, not July, early June. That's
Yeah.
my bad.
The other one. No, makes sense. Yeah.
And what I did in the past is that I've followed that year, but I've either taken half a, s- yeah, I've either taken a semester class during the summer. So that's how you can schedule it. I'd say definitely do it if you know that you have time, but it's pretty easy to get caught behind if you're not doing work like your regular schedule. So.
No, well, I'm curious your thoughts on that topic, Yared. What was your pacing like? Were you a 12-month, year-round guy, or did you afford yourself some vacations?
I mean, no, I didn't allow myself much vacation, but
Okay.
uh, I mean, everyone's different. I think it wouldn't be best if I, did school the whole year.
Hmm.
So I definitely did give myself, I think, at least 2 months of just no school in the summer. But with SATs and all, it's not like I'm really getting a break. So it's like less Laurel Springs School, but
Yeah.
it's still pretty much year round.
No, it's SAT 2 season and ACT, all those things. God, what a flashback. I just went down memory lane as you bring that up. On the other side, we've talked a lot about the academics of it, the tennis itself. And I'll start with you here, Yared. Once you got signed up for the JTCC, once you figured out what this schedule was going to look like, did your tennis take a massive leap? Like to be able to commit full time to the sport the way that you chose to do, what ways did it pay dividends on the court? Like how quickly did you start to see results?
I mean, yeah, definitely. You said it perfectly. It's just the my first year of an actual structured thing every day, and like doing fitness every day, two practices a day every day. Where if I like, for example, if I did practice in the Virgin Islands, I'd get like these practices that I get every day. I'd probably get those like once a week. So it just like sped up the process of my improvement a lot. I started the main first 3 months. The main thing that I could notice was my fitness, especially during my matches and at tournaments. I was able to win some matches just off of like being more fit than some people. That's a big thing here as well. We do fitness every day. It's and very hard fitness. So yeah, I definitely improved a lot, especially throughout the year. Of course, there's some ups and downs, but overall, especially in my tournaments, there was a big leap, and I still have one more year of this, so I'm excited.
Well, for you, Eden, was it a similar experience? And again, I know you started a little younger, so I don't know if you'll see those massive jumps right away. I feel like it typically comes like ninth, 10th grade, where it's like, all right, I'm speaking to my own experience, so I don't want to project onto you guys. But what was that like for you? What dividends, what were you able to focus on court that maybe you didn't have time for before?
Honest, I was by spending more time on court, I feel like I was able to improve my technical a lot more. So by the middle of freshman year, my technical was on point just because it's been worked since eighth grade, since I'm spending more time, more effort. I'm getting a lot more personal feedback than I would normally get. So it's having that, and it's also having just honestly putting more time on court. It's just being able to train as much as you do while also having, time to do like other things. So for me, I'd say I saw the big jump happen at middle of freshman year, beginning of sophomore year, where I really started to see like, oh, okay, this is how I'm performing now. This is how I'm getting better.
I'm glad you guys asked. For me, it was that same summer. My older brother was 2 years older than me. He came back from a trip his going into his senior year, going into my sophomore year, and for the first time, like there was just no question I was better than him now, and it was just like, yeah, new sheriff in town. So always a good feeling when you make that sort of jump, and for a program like the JTCC specifically, because there are a lot of really good local programs in communities, coaches within local communities across this country. But it's not JTCC good. And I'm just curious, and I'll start with you here. Just like talk to me about the tennis side of the program. I know you've alluded to the training and the fitness, but just talk to me about the coaching you get there. Talk to me about the way they speak about the sport. Like, what in your mind makes the JTCC a premier place to develop your game?
Yeah, it's you gotta, there's a lot of coaches here and a lot of them have, their strengths and what they can do for you. And you each have, every player has their mentor that walks them or that helps them through tournaments and, their ups and downs. And the main thing that they tell us is kind of just nothing is given pretty much. Like it doesn't really matter what it is, not even outside of tennis. Like you're just gonna have to work for, I mean, every shot or every opportunity. Um, and yeah.
No, it makes sense to me, and I'm curious for you, Eden, in what ways the JTCC becoming a part of the program has most benefited your game. What is it about the resources you enjoy most?
I enjoy the fact that you can get different points of view on different aspects of your game. Like you can ask one coach about, how do I or what's the best shot selection in this point, or hey, can I work on, continental skills? And you can get different it's same structure, like they don't mess with your technique because I mean your technique is your technique unless it's your mentor. They give you situations to where you can improve the area that you asked to improve. And
Yeah.
it's I'd say in a way I mean it's kind of like just learning from different masters. Like it's you learn how the coach is like you learn how the coach was taught and you also learn how the coach can give back to you. So even with your game, you can find ways to improve it and you can find ways to implement the different pieces of information given to you.
Yeah. No, I'm envious. God knows my game needs that sort of work at this point. And this is this is a tennis specific question, but I want to nerd out a little bit here. I'm curious what the modern practice session looks like. Like you have 2 hits a day. I'll start with you, Eden. What do those 2 hits look like? Like, what are you doing on court nowadays? And I'm sure it differs from day to day, but like, what do those standards, like, is it 2 hours of this, 2 hours of that? What does that look like for you?
So the standard. So the morning, the first 2 hour block. The first 2 hour block focuses a little bit more on drilling. So we actually start with live ball. We usually go through a routine to start off with. There's a set routine if the coaches aren't there or if they're there that we go through. It involves hitting down the middle for 50 balls, hitting cross court for 50 balls, hitting the other cross court for 50 balls. And then we split off into groups,
Okay.
and groups work with certain coaches. And then that's drilling. So the drilling can either be basket fed or live ball or a mix of the two. And that's based on different skills that the coach sees that your group needs to work on. We're sectioned by the skills that we need to work on.
Okay.
And that's definitely a big part in like growth for us because we get to see how the other players in our group are doing this skill and either help them and see like, hey, like we can problem solve in real time, or we can go off and see what they're doing well so that we can copy it. And then the second 2 hour block, it tends to be more point play or match play. This can range from just standard up and down tie breaks, standard sets or matches. But what we've been doing recently is having situations for the sets and tiebreakers and playing the sets and tiebreakers with that situation to one, make us uncomfortable, make us think on court, and two, help us work on the skills that we probably focused on in the first 2 hour block.
I love it. So in that case, it's like we'll play every service game you start 30 all, or we're starting at 4 all, play from there. That would be that sort of specific scenario, Eden.
Yes, but it can also be more complex.
Okay. Tell me. I love this.
One that we've been doing recently is that we have to win 3 points in a row to win the game. So
Okay.
that's focusing on momentum, and that's also focusing on, breaking momentum. And then I think one of my favorite ones is one serve situations. Really gets you focusing.
Wait till you get to college and it's no bounce doubles. That's when you're really rocking and rolling. I know you got to build those serve and volley tactics. Is your day looking similar, Yared? Is it that same opening 2 hour, second 2 hour split? What are the things you've been working on specifically in your game?
Yeah, Eden explained it pretty well. It definitely varies by the coach and by the week.
Hmm.
But yeah, for the first, usually we'll start competing more, throughout the week. But first couple of days, it's a lot of balls hitting, a lot of drilling, and a lot of uncomfortable positions that they put us in.
Yeah.
Very rough sometimes, but it's good.
No, it sounds fun.
Not really.
I'm
Sometimes it is fun after, but
Come on, Yard. We love the 300 ball drill. We love the 300 ball.
what percentage for you, Yared, is live ball versus basket fed?
oh, I don't do a lot of, to be honest, I don't do a lot of basket fed.
Okay.
That's pretty rare for me. I mean, the coaches know what I need to work on, but I do sometimes, when I'm working on my continental skills, that's a part of my game that, needs improving,
Okay.
or when I'm serving, but it's most of the time just like changing directions and live ball stuff and transition.
Yeah. No. That's what about for you, Eden? What's the split? Just out of curiosity.
I'd say I definitely do more live ball than basket fed, but
Hmm.
the way that it's structured for me is that it tends to be more competitive. Like whenever I'm on
Sure.
the court with somebody, I'm usually competing against them, whether it's hitting a ball in a certain area or setting up something better so that you can attack and be on the offensive. So it's usually that for me, mainly because the coaches already, see the work ethic. So they're just adding that different element to really help me think out there.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And again, it would be great if every ball in a match was basket fed. Not the case. So certainly live ball makes a lot of sense to me. My last two questions for each of you. Obviously, you're both getting to the end of your high school careers. I'll start with you, Yared, as it's a little more present. College tennis. Like, how much of that has been in your consideration? And as it relates to the schooling element, like I guess how difficult has it been to make sure you are on track and balancing that side of things with making sure your tennis is where it needs to be as well?
No, yeah, I've been pretty excited for college tennis.
Mhm.
That's a good thing that online school in Laurel Springs can help you out with a lot because it's like this schedule and it's pretty similar to I think what we're gonna be doing in college and the online school and like the just the work of like doing it by yourself pretty much or just online school. So I think that's a great part of it. And yeah, I'm excited for college tennis. I still have to decide, but yeah, I'm excited.
Have you lined up any visits yet?
Yeah, I have one supposed to be in 2 weeks actually with Howard, and then we'll see how like my other recruitments go. But yeah, I'm excited.
Howard Endelman, Columbia.
No, sorry, Howard Bison, like the one like an hour from here.
Gotcha, gotcha. Oh, Howard the school.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
great school. Yeah, I thought you meant Howard the head coach. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, there's a couple Howards. I had to go through in my head.
right.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That'll be very, very cool. What about for you, Eden? Where are you at? I know it's a little bit earlier, but have you, started the junior years when it opens up?
Yes, it
Yeah.
definitely has. I have quite a few places scheduled. But that's mainly because I'm traveling around for tournaments. So I've been, finding a couple days to go to that campus, check it out, see what's like there. And college tennis is something that I'm definitely excited about. That's my, that's the goal for me to play college tennis, be on a team, have that team aspect because I really I loved watching the NCAA championship. I loved watching those. So I saw it when I was 12, and as soon as I saw, I'm like, that's what I want to do. That I need to be out there. So college tennis for me, I'm very excited to go into it.
I had that same reaction. It's why we do what we do here at Cracked Rackets. Well, my last question for each of you is one I always like to ask in these Laurel Springs interviews because I'm sure you both get this all the time, whether it be from family members or friends outside of the JTCC community, where they ask you about your online schooling experience and they make just some sort of outrageous claim. because again they have their perception of what it must be like, and it's probably like, oh guys, you probably never have to go to school or whatever it may be. I'm curious, I'll start with you, Yared. What is the biggest misunderstanding about online schooling that you always have to say, no, 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 that's not true, this is what it actually is?
I think it's not that easy. It's honestly it could be considered harder. It definitely makes it easier when you have like tutors here and people that can help you. But like when I wasn't doing Laurel Springs, it was definitely a lot harder just doing the work and understanding the work by myself. I mean, I had my parents help me, but it's not the same. And then um yeah, that's it pretty
Yeah.
much.
No, makes sense to me. Eden, what about for you?
For me, I think the biggest misunderstanding is that you're not disconnected from the communities in your school. For me, I'm part of two groups, Mu Alpha Theta and National Athletic Honor Society. And just having those groups, being within those groups, you're connected. You're not like socially distant from everybody else. I think that's the biggest misunderstanding that people have.
Yeah, go ahead,
Uh,
Yared.
and I forgot, it's also it could be considered more work than in-person school because it's not like sometimes when you do in-person school, or at least from my experience, some teachers will skip a part if there's not enough time. But you can't skip your parts here. You have to do it every single lesson. So
No, again, it makes a lot of sense, and it's a credit to you guys to be able to balance that and continue to pursue your passion for tennis and do both exceptionally well. It's a credit to who you both are, and a credit to the JTCC program, a credit to Laurel Springs. And so, sincerely appreciate both of you taking the time to come on the show here this morning and offer some insight into what those experiences are like. Yared, Alfred, Eden Waters, thank you both so much for joining
Thank you
us
for
here
having
this
us here.
morning. Yeah,
Thank you.
and of course, good luck to you both as you continue your pursuits.
thank
All
you.
right, thank you.